The mystery lights of Texas. In the remote desert near Marfa, Texas, strange glowing lights have been spotted for over a century. They dance, split apart and vanish without a trace. Scientists blame car headlights, but locals say the lights were seen long before cars existed. What do you think causes them? Hi, it's me, number 4. The mystery began in 1917 when a group of ranchers were working their land outside of town. Suddenly, they saw brilliant lights dancing across the desert. They weren't stars because they seemed to move erratically. They also didn't resemble any aircraft because this was well before airplanes were invented. The lights continued to appear for the next several years, always around dusk. It seemed like a natural phenomenon, so no one paid much attention to them. That was until 1927. In that year, people began to flock to Marfa from all over the country just to witness the lights with their own eyes. The spectacle was so large-scale that newspapers from all over the country picked up the story. Most dismissed the lights as a hoax, while others said it was proof that aliens had finally made contact with humans. This influx of UFO hunters remained steady for decades, and eventually the military stepped in. In 1967, the U.S. Air Force set up Project Sign, an initiative designed to collect data on UFO sightings. The hope was that by studying these reports, we would be able to better understand what caused them. But even after years of research, the reports only grew more confusing. In some cases, witnesses reported seeing one large light or several smaller ones. Some witnesses said they saw bright white orbs, while others said they saw flashing red and green lights. The light patterns changed from night to night and sometimes even during the same night. And then just as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished. As time went on, researchers began to feel like they would never solve the mystery of the Marfa lights. That was until 1968. That year, Major J.J. Bennett and Captain Howard H. Hawley were sent to West Texas to conduct a study of the lights. The pair spent weeks camped out in the desert, waiting to see the lights for themselves. When they finally did, they were shocked at what they saw. According to their report, the lights appeared to come from a field about 2 miles away, dancing erratically across the horizon. There were between 15 and 20 lights in total, and they seemed to change direction based on the wind. While observing the lights, Bennett and Hawley noticed something very strange. They realized that the lights appeared to follow the curvature of the earth. Because of this, they were able to judge the height of each light accurately. All of them were between 10 and 15 feet above the ground. After observing the lights for several days, Bennett and Hawley decided to investigate the field where they believed the lights originated. When they arrived, they found nothing but scrub brush, cows, and a single ranch house. The owner of the ranch told them he'd been living there for years, and every evening he watched the same lights dance across his property. Bennett and Hawley were puzzled. Where were the lights coming from? But as they stood there trying to figure it out, something incredible happened. One of the lights suddenly went out, then another and another until all of them disappeared into the darkness. And when they checked the field the following morning, they found nothing but tire tracks leading to a dry creek bed. The next day, the lights reappeared and danced across the sky once again. Bennett and Hawley had stumbled onto something truly incredible, and they knew it. They rushed back to their camp to alert the other researchers, but when they got there, they found that everyone had packed up and left. It turned out that the head researcher had received a phone call in the middle of the night telling him to pack up and leave immediately. No explanation was given, and none of the researchers ever learned who called their head. But whatever the reason, Bennett and Hawley were on their own. And after studying the lights for another week, they too packed up and left. Like their colleagues, they had more questions than answers, but they were certain that the lights were not of this world. According to their official report, they believed the lights were most likely some form of extraterrestrial aircraft. However, the general consensus among scientists is that the lights are simply car headlights. So where did that theory come from? Well, in 1961, Texas Highway Department engineer Joe F. Lowe came up with a simple explanation for the mysterious lights. He claimed that when motorists drove along Highway 90 at night, their headlights could be seen reflecting off the moisture in the air. This would cause the lights to dance and distort, making it seem like they were moving from point to point across the sky. To prove this, Lowe drove a car along the highway at night and shined his high beams straight up in the air. Sure enough, the lights reflected off the moisture and appeared to dance in the sky just like the Marfa lights. For many years, this explanation satisfied most people, but in 1980, an amateur astronomer named Robert L. O'Brien conducted his own study of the lights and reached a different conclusion. He discovered that the lights could be seen even when there was no moisture in the air or when cars were nowhere to be seen. Several other studies reached the same conclusion, and soon the mystery of the lights began anew. In fact, today there is still no definitive explanation for the Marfa lights. All we know for sure is that they continue to appear every night, dancing across the Texas sky and leaving witnesses in awe. But what do you think? Do you believe the official explanation that the lights are simply car headlights, or do you think there's something more going on here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. On an ordinary day in February 1942, 4 teenagers were skating on Lake Ontario when they saw something unbelievable. A huge flying disc was hovering above the ice, and it seemed to be having trouble landing. As they watched in amazement, the object began to fall. So the boys grabbed their skates and rushed over to where it had crashed. But when they got there, they found nothing but a few small pieces of metal. Over the next few days, similar reports began to pour in from all over the region. People were seeing flying discs, and some were even finding pieces of them in their backyards. Soon, the entire country was buzzing with talk of flying saucers. And the United States military knew they had to do something. They created a secret task force to investigate the claims and track down the source of the mysterious objects. What they discovered would shock the world. If you want to know what really happened, stay tuned for more information. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.